Hi everybody. This is a video that I've been meaning to do for a really long time. I did a video a really long time ago about how to break down and clean an Iwata Neo, and it's a really good starter airbrush. If they sell it at Hobby Lobby for like $50, $60, and then you can use a 40% off coupon. You know, Hobby Lobby always has a 40% off coupon, and then you can, use it to get one of these. And I think that's part of the reason why the video is so popular. You know, people watch it every day, and it's been up for like years now. So this is kind of a follow-up to that video. There's some stuff in there that I said that I wouldn't say it's like full of disinformation. I can also, when I want to clean it out, I can just pop it in some water like this. You can run water through it. So I just pop it in the water and then I run it through there, like push it on full pressure and run it through. You know, like it's got good information in it, and then there's a lot of people like said things in the comments, you know, they're like, oh, you know, this is happening with my airbrush, this is happening, and I felt like I helped them, you know, like I felt good about it, like I said things that they're like, you know, commented back, like try this to fix it, you know. I had also had those detractors where they say you can't use anything with, you know, Windex in it, or you can't, if you use ammonia products, cleaning products with ammonia in your airbrush, it will melt the chrome. Okay, now any forum, any like airbrushing forum or whatever that you go on, or like, you know, YouTube thing where you look in the comments, you're gonna have that person that says, you know, ammonia melts chrome. So technically this is true. Technically this is true. Ammonia does melt chrome, but that's more of like okay, if I open this up and smell it, it doesn't stink of ammonia. I mean, like if this was 100% ammonia, or like a good percentage ammonia, it would stink of ammonia. Like you would definitely be able to smell it. And it's not. It's like, if you look at the formulation of what's in, you know, Windex or glass cleaner, like streak-free glass cleaner, there is ammonia in like every sprayable, you know, like where if it comes in one of these, it's going to have ammonia in it, and that's what you want to go through the airbrush, because it will, you know, get it clean and then spray through it. It's going to have ammonia in it. But the thing is that it's only like a 1% or whatever of what's in something like this. And if you open up one of these and smell it, it smells like rubbing alcohol. Though like the main ingredient, it smells like diluted rubbing alcohol. It's not, you know, like 100%. It smells like it's maybe like half or like a third, you know, or less rubbing alcohol and water. It's probably mostly distilled water and rubbing alcohol, and then they do add things to these, like they add like glycerin, things like that will help sort of reduce the wear and tear on the parts inside the airbrush, you know, and like keep it lubricated and things like that. Well, I don't have any right now. I thought I did. So I'll show you this, how this stuff works. So this is basically it's mostly rubbing alcohol, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. You know, there's a lot of people who say in like online forums that if you use anything that has ammonia in it, then it's going to eat the chrome on your airbrush, and it's going to destroy your airbrush. But the thing is that this stuff, what I used to do is I would spray Windex into the cup to clean it, So I'm gonna rub it around in there in the cup to try and get some of that black paint out of there. But you can see that there's still, you know, it doesn't do that good of a job like actually kind of getting the paint out. But so there's a secret ingredient that I added to my version that, I mean, it's like, I'm convinced it just makes the biggest difference. Like, it's crazy what a big difference it makes. So yeah, I'll get to that. But so how I use this stuff to do a quick change, I'm going to show you that. And then this is something that I wish I had known, you know, a long time ago. Like when I made that first video about how to clean, you know, how to break down and clean one of these. I wish that I had known this information. And it's just, this is what I use to do a color change, and like in between deep cleanings, or even doing maintenance so that you don't have to do a deep clean. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a little bit of this quick change solution into the cup when I'm doing my color change. And then I'm going to just kind of swish around in there with a brush and make sure that I'm getting the paint that's clinging to the walls of the paint cup, and kind of down in there a little bit inside the little mechanism, and then I'm going to dump that out. And I swear, like, that is like 90% of the battle as far as the color change actually goes, is just getting the paint that's kind of clinging to the cup out of there. And then you know, I might even do that a couple of times, just kind of swish around in there, and or maybe hold on to the nozzle and do a little bit of a backfill, and kind of make sure that I'm getting like inside of the airbrush and getting the you know, like inside the mechanism to get any paint that's clinging inside the mechanism kind of loosened up. And then I'll, you know, maybe do that a couple times and then spray through it until I'm not spraying that color anymore. And secondly, this is how I use the same mix, the same product, to do like in between cleanings, like when I'm done airbrushing and I want to do a little bit of maintenance, you know, in between to make sure that I don't get clogs later. And this is like the ounce of prevention, you know, that stops a pound of maintenance or a pound of care, you know. And this is something that I definitely use on my new expensive airbrush. So, but yeah, we'll get into that. So in between deep cleans, or, you know, just regular kind of daily quick change kind of maintenance, like if I'm not cleaning out a clog, and I haven't had any clogs yet with the new Harder and Steenbeck, and I think it's because I've been taking really good care of it. I'll kind of take it apart a little bit, and I'll just get inside the you know, like I'll take the needle out, I'll clean off the needle, just make sure that there's not any paint sticking to the needle, and then I'll go in and I'll use one of these little gum brushes. And what they are is that I got this one from the dentist, and I don't use it on my teeth, but I definitely use it on my airbrush. It's just a really handy tool, and it works better than what I've seen as far as like airbrush deep cleaning kits goes. It's like a pipe cleaner that you're supposed to use in between your teeth, and then has a little wire bristle thing in it, so it's just not ideal for cleaning in between your teeth, but it just gets in there, you know, and like cleans out the places where you get the clogs the most. So it's like, if you're doing this, I feel like if you're doing this every time that you airbrush, when you're done, when you put it away, you're not going to get those clogs. Or at least you're going to go a way longer before you actually get the clogs. And, about the Harder and Steenbeck, people say that it's like, it's like a sports car. It's like when it works, it's great, but when it breaks, it's like, or it's always in the shop, and like, it only wants its premium gas. To me, they're easier to clean. I think that they're way easier to break apart and clean, and it's more of like a precision machine. I think that that's actually part of what you're paying for, to me. But what do I know? And then this is how I make the stuff. So yeah, like I said, with the airbrush cleaner, this is, again, you can get this at Hobby Lobby. You can use the 40% off coupon, but it's still $9, for a little jar like this. For a refill of Windex, a giant thing of Windex like this is about $3. And then a big bottle of rubbing alcohol is going to be like maybe $2. And my secret ingredient, that's actually the expensive stuff. That is going to run you a little bit more, and it might be a little bit harder to find, but it's going to be like around like $7. So all in, you're looking at maybe like $13 to make gallons of this stuff. Or not gallons, but a gallon. Yeah, a gallon of this stuff. So, I do not have exact precise measurements for you, but this is how I make this stuff. So I use 2/3 glass cleaner, and I like Target brand. I shop at Target a lot. So I'm just going to fill up one of these squeeze bottles. It's just a used water bottle with a nice little squeeze top on it. And I'm going to fill it up 2/3 of the way with Windex. And then I'm just going to use the same thing, Target brand rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to add about 1/3 of the container's worth of rubbing alcohol. And some people, I've seen a lot of people where they use a little bit of distilled water, and they add some distilled water to this, or they add some tap water. Whatever is in the Windex and the rubbing alcohol, it's going to kill whatever's in your tap water. But if you have hard tap water, I would recommend just using distilled water, because then you're not going to have those like minerals that are going to build up inside of your airbrush. But personally, I like to use all Windex and rubbing alcohol. And finally, the last ingredient, the secret ingredient, and I'm just using just a little bit of this stuff, just kind of a dash of this stuff, is this Maron's body paint medium. And it's just a fluid that you mix together with medium to make body paint. So it's safe. It's safe for human to be put on human skin, and regular acrylic paint is not. So this is, if it's safe for your skin, it's safe for your airbrush. But it's just it's basically there's a few ingredients in it, and I'll explain what those are. but the main thing that you need to know is that it has propylene glycol in it. And lastly, this is where I had my breakthrough, my aha moment, eureka moment, was I added some of it just to experiment with. I added a little bit to some paint that I was thinning to go through my evolution, and so just to say one thing about this, I had been using Iwata airbrushes for years and years and years, and I was a big Iwata fanboy, and like their cleaning product, the Iwata Media, Media. It's not Media. It's not spelled MEDIA. It's spelled MEDEA. Their cleaner. I was a big Iwata fanboy. This thing, like being able to dump airbrush paint right into it and then just being ready to go, there's something to be said for that. And the fact that I could get it like really clogged, like when I watched that video, the video I made about how to do a deep clean on these guys and how filthy this was inside when I cleaned it, it's like a pickup truck, it's like, or like an AK-47 where you can dump a handful of sand down the barrel and it will still shoot. Granted it like rattles all over the place, and like we get into the analogies, and then a lot of people compare the Harder and Steenbeck to a BMW or a Mercedes because they're expensive, a lot more expensive than a starter like airbrush that you would get, and then they want their premium gasoline. You have to thin the paints down to the right consistency so that they'll go through the airbrush the way that they're supposed to. But when they work, it's like driving a sports car versus a pickup truck. That's the analogy. But I was having trouble. I was struggling with getting it dialed in, like my paint consistency and getting things dialed in to a very specific, consistency, kind of like skim milk consistency. So I added some of this stuff to it as a thinner, and then that's when, I'm convinced that the secret ingredient is propylene glycol. So there's a lot of people where they make their own airbrush thinner, and it is glass cleaner, rubbing alcohol, and then maybe distilled water or some water, and then they add a little bit of glycerin. So I had this stuff lying around. I had my Marin's body paint. It's like basically I got hired to do a gig. I'm a graphic artist and a commercial graphic artist. I got hired to do a gig where I was doing body painting, and I got this stuff from a costume shop, and it's like a mixing liquid that you would use to add to pigments to make your own body paint. So it's the main ingredient. Well, it's like distilled water and glycerin, but it has propylene glycol in it, and propylene glycol is a propellant. It's a thing that you see in when people do vaping. Like when they make their own nicotine juice, and then they use like the vape pen or whatever. It's an ingredient that's in like vaping nicotine juice and things like that, and it's a propellant that you just see, but it's basically the propellant form of glycerin. And I swear, like I have never used a better airbrush thinner. This works way better than any, like my favorite brand, which is Tester's Model Masters acrylic airbrush thinner. So yeah, I got a new airbrush. It's very picky about its paint consistency. I got a new it's a Harder and Steenbeck Evolution, and but I'm gonna try something different. I want to try and use my DIY quick change paint thinner and see if that helps. Because it very much wants the paint to be more of a thin consistency. It has a smaller nozzle. And if the paint isn't the right consistency, it just doesn't want to go through the airbrush the right way. Let's see if this works better than my my favorite brand of airbrush thinner. Just gonna give it a try. I'm working on a, I'm going to do a video about this too, about this quick change solution. There's a secret ingredient that seems to do a really good job. Wow, that's actually making a huge difference. That's going through the airbrush really well and not getting any kind of splattering or anything. Oh, that's wonderful. So as an airbrush thinner, this works better than anything I've ever used, and I'm convinced that it's the propylene glycol that just makes it come off of the, come off of the tip and just spray so smoothly. And so what I would get issues with was that, like a little bit of paint would sort of collect on like the needle, like right here, and then it would splatter. So I would just spray, in between when I'm doing my painting, I would spray off the tip, just hold down, spray off the tip, and then go back to, actually painting. But for some reason, adding, using this as a thinner just made it just a joy. Like, there was no splattering. It was just super, super smooth. Everything was going on, beautifully, like butter. And just, no issues. And then also whenever, when I go back to use it, there's no sticking the parts. Everything is like, nice and lubed, and it's just, a joy. So yeah, there's that. And, like I just take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying don't blame me if your parts break or something later. I'm just saying that take it from a person who's been airbrushing for like 30 years. That you can use Windex in your airbrush to clean it, and it will be just fine. This is going to work better than plain Windex, and with my experiments, it works as an airbrush thinner better than any commercial brand that I've ever bought and used. So there's that. But yeah, I hope that you can glean some good information from this, and hopefully this video gets thousands and thousands of views. I'm sure that there's a lot of as far as I've seen, there's a lot of videos of people where they have their own quick change solution. This is just my recipe, and it works fantastic for me. So yeah, hope you got something good out of this, and thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves until the next time I see you.